All right. So the sexual revolution and the Great Society programs.
Yes. You're
Yeah.
listening to Transparency and Merit with Joe and Brian.
So
Yes.
this is I gorked this on Twitter, and by the way, Gork is still has woke guardrails to it, which pisses me off.
Gork.
Gork, and I gorked, yeah, Grok. You should try it yourself, Joey. It's a new AI, but like all AI, it still has woke guardrails that Elon is trying to get rid of, but unfortunately they have not. Hence why I am striving to do my Walk Against the Woke campaign.
That's right.
Hopefully in Butler, where the president was shot. All right. And this is what they said for that. Oh, the good old days when families were stable and as a Jenga tower in an earthquake. Who are you gork piece of caca? The sexual revolution and the Great Society program certainly had their share of critics who argue that they've done more to break up families than supervised visits from the in-laws. According to some, the sexual revolution emphasizes on free love and personal liberation has led to the decline in the traditional stable family unit.
Brian, it's no mistake when you look at when it came around. That is birth control. It came around. We had rock and roll. We had birth control. We're probably the two major social players for destroying the nuclear family, which in my view was all the atomic war was about. Was all about dismantling the nuclear family, and nothing was more damaging than probably rock music, and which also to the drugs, and of course birth control. How do you feel about that? What do you are you on?
Well, I want to do. Let's see here. This in turn has resulted in higher crime rates, particularly among young people who grew up without the guidance and support of a two-parent household. As for the Great Society programs, some believe they've incentivized single motherhood by providing financial support to households without fathers. Critics argue that this has led to the breakdown of the family structure and the rise in crime, as younger men growing up without father figures are more likely to engage in criminal behavior. Of course, these are just some of the perspectives on the matter. Others might argue that the sexual revolution and Great Society programs have actually empowered women and minorities, and that the increase in crime has more complex causes than the breakdown of the family unit. In the end, it's a bit like trying to figure out why your scuffle I don't know this word, Joey. Souffle. Souffle didn't rhyme.
It sounds sort of like souffle.
You're souffle.
Yes.
Souffle didn't rise. There are a lot of factors at play, and it's not always easy to pinpoint the exact cause. Who wrote this? What robot? I want to come in to the robot AI and give him the what for. How dare you? But
maybe.
What is this nonsense? Give me a break.
Sounds like something Kaka Kamala would write.
Gork, you're fired. Robot Gork, you're fired. The next show I'm going to do is Robot Gork. Elon, fire the robot Gork. He is disgusting.
Finally.
We need to do a show on that alone.
Yes.
Ridiculous.
Fired.
It's absurdity. But
Get out of here.
now, the truth is, Joey, in my opinion, back in the day, and you've seen the movie Coal Miner's Daughter, right?
With Sissy Spacek, of course.
Yeah. Now, back in those days, to marry the teenage girl before having sex with her, you actually had to ask the father's hand in marriage. Granted, she was only 14 or 13, and we don't do that kind of thing anymore, but he still asked the father before statutory rape. We can't even say rape anymore on YouTube, but before the statutory grape took place. And now there's no 14-year-olds getting married, but there are a lot of single mothers out there. And someone said, I want kids. By the way, I want to mention this person that I've met. I don't want to. Should I say her name? But
yes,
she. Well, I met her, by the way, on.
First, I'm going to say hi to Scott because he's such a. I thought that was the girl you were referring to, but I'm sorry. Go on.
Okay, so this is a person, by the way, I met on. I can't remember. God, I keep forgetting her name. Amala. I can't pronounce her last name, but Amala. I can't. I don't know her last name, but Kenobi or whatever. But Cannoli Manolo. She was a person on PragerU. She became famous before that on. On was it not Instagram, TikTok, I believe, and then she became famous on. She became famous on. She then got picked up by PragerU, and I kind of got interested. But the people on there, except for the person on this side who I kind of talked to and stuff, they got a lot of. I don't want to say the bad word, Joey, but
say it.
Okay, it's a lot of people I think who claim to have autism, and they tend to filibuster in the word chat rooms, and I got a little obnoxious there, and I had a really bad temper. And
it's really easy to become obnoxious around autism.
Yeah, well,
I can only say that because I worked around it for so many years.
Joey, sometimes I think the people that are autistic make a self-diagnosis and they're kind of faking it.
That absolutely happens, yes.
And that was what really kind of angered me.
Yeah.
And
right.
Yeah. I think
if you're autistic and nobody gave you the diagnosis, but you gave yourself the diagnosis, it's probably not right. I'm just saying.
It's probably 100% wrong.
They spot that very early and before anyone's really conscious of what's going on really around them. So nowadays, of course, a lot from our era, we're a little bit older. I think a lot of us slip through the cracks. So you never know what you're going to get.
That is that is correct. But there has been a change, like it or not. The sexual revolution is here. Now, can I mention, Joanne says she wants kids, and Howard Just State says, yes, I legit agree. So, like I said, back in the day, you had to ask your parents. A man usually had to ask the father's permission for the hand in marriage before sex could even take place. And that is not the case anymore. Women are liberated. And
Well,
there is,
but
yeah.
there's also been a constant push from the father really have a role in the family anymore. So, of course, it does sound pretty much on par with where we're at.
Well, my thing is a father upholds the family name. And to a degree, it's like if you rob and you steal, you know, you're disgracing the family. And that sense
Mm-hmm.
of shame and honor are no longer there. And we're losing that. And kids today, they have, a victim, and we're also going really deep into a victim culture. And does a victim culture have honor? I want to mention that CT is here, and I've been on his show a few times, and I really enjoyed it. And saying that it's a great stream, and he has a great stream too.
I give the guy a lot of credit. CT's show has just such a wide variety, a big spectrum of. I
He
won't
is
say spectrum. There's a wide variety of folks that join those shows.
I consider CT to be a First Amendment superhero, and I am
strong. Yes.
yeah, I am striving for Elon to sponsor. If I ever had a talk with Elon, I would say instead of Don Lemon, you should sponsor Elon. I mean, you should sponsor CT, Chaotic Truth, because I think that Don Lemon is a very dense, egocentric, myopic. Should I say buffoon? Just a myopic egocentric who can't see past his own nose. And
Brian,
yeah,
you can handle a lot of different personality types as well. But CT does a great job at it.
he does. He is excellent
Yes.
at that, and he, like I said, he has to deal with his share of egocentric narcissists, that come around, and he handles them rather well.
Yeah.
And they are a dime a dozen on social media, YouTube, and Twitter.
He's an active listener. There's very little active listening going on right now on YouTube and other places. So, breath of fresh air over there for sure. With CT.
I hope his show does well. I think Twitter might be the place where that show really blows up, and any products that he sells would be something that I would buy just because I want to support his program. So CT is a great show, and I might put a link into the description. Been on there a few times, but even when I'm not on there, still a great show. A lot of dynamic sort of people on there. So, but getting back to the subject at hand, Joey, what can be done? Because the truth is, the sexual revolution bottle, it's out. And that piece of candy is it's out and it's floating around. So we're not gonna go back to the 1950s. What do you think can be done to at least curb? Joey, you left me. So I was going to ask what basically could be done to curb some of the behavior. And Joey has left me. I don't know why. I think that he has to go back to I think he has to kind of go back to back and reboot because sometimes they. Joey, you left me. What? Joey, you left me a little bit.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you fine. So,
Sorry.
Mike, did you have to reboot?
No, I'm not sure what happened. Maybe Howard's back and attacking us.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Joey.
Yes.
How do we put that, the sexual revolution? I know we can't put that genie back into the bottle, but how can we go back and like maybe get some of the morality back? Because I think we've really gone off the deep end as far as being decent to one another.
It's going to be hard because every major story that the media, especially since basically since CNN went to a 24-hour news cycle, we've just been bombarded with so many division bells. It's unbelievable. Each event polarize people more and more, whether you believe it happened or not. The real impact is division, and I think to get to a place where we can start having these open discourses on a massive level, where a lot more people are involved, is to break the programming spells. Just break them. If you only watched CNN or Fox for the last 20 years, stop watching that shit and start coming up with your own thought. Do some observations and without any input, and start thinking for yourself.
Well, as of now, there seems to be a cultural capture of a lot of. I mean, and you and I both saw this during the protests of 2020, and also during the pandemic of 2020. A lot of cultural capture and behavior of people that was really off-putting. And in my opinion, I felt very objectified and very stigmatized.
There was a lot that I did. There were ones that I didn't even quite see at the beginning that were such obvious grifts and lies and money milking schemes. There's a whole thing with kind of a lesser known kind of internet guy, Owen Benjamin, who's, I guess he kind of claims himself to be a comedian of some kind. He's not funny, but so Owen has taken on this kind of strange narrative, but he just ended up grifting a whole bunch of people. He made a whole bunch of promises, and whether you know him or not, it doesn't matter. It's just I've seen so many of these now that it truly worries me who's taking the bait, who's eating the cheese. Just an amazing thing to me. Sorry, go ahead, Brian.
Something, I really didn't recognize how bad the cultural capture. Well, I kind of realized it, and then I realized the force of the cultural capture, and to a degree, I started to even censor myself, and kind of these people are so. We have a group of people that are so problematic, and so almost it's almost like they bypass, because I said to people, I would say there's a real, like with the BLM protest, there's a real moral authoritarianism that has taken over the movement. I mean, these are like people who make demands. This isn't an open conversation. It wasn't like the 60s where we had where they had sit-ins and they allowed people to talk and there was an exchange of ideas. There isn't. As a matter of fact, Joey, they mock your inquisitive, people's inquisitive nature. They're there to punish you. And when did a time of science, because I'm talking about the pill, that came out that was to be liberating and to talk about sexual mores and sexual pleasure, and it's kind of like because I think of the Adam and Eve and the tree of knowledge. And what they used to say was that tree of knowledge was the knowledge of sex. And once you open up the box for sexual knowledge, that's when your childhood ends, and you start kind of gaining like just striving for sex, and the innocence of your childhood is gone, and that's when adulthood becomes a thing. Joey, do you have anything to say about the tree of knowledge, the Adam and Eve story? Does that kind of relate, or is that incorrect? Did I just say a bunch of gobbledygook, Joey? God darn it!
I see things a little differently, but okay, I get where you're going.
Well, it's what it's just something that I took away from when the Old Testament, and they said, the word of Hebrew or something of that nature was the tree of knowledge was about sex. And, when you bite into that apple, that is when, you lose the innocence. The age of innocence is gone. And with the pill, our age of innocence to that degree was gone. And we saw a level of realism and ugliness. The films before the 1960s, we had a thing. We had two groups. We had the Hayes Office, and we had the Legion of Decency. And they were kind of, those film companies were there to keep a lid on the film industry and make it positive for families. And, Mr. Hayes would say of every race, of every creed and stuff. And they had kind of a morals clause in there. And the Legion of Decency was even more strict and even more, I heard even more arm twisting as far as the film industry was concerned. And that kind of went away by the 1960s. The Legion of Decency, by the 1970s, the Legion of Decency had pretty much completely lost its power, except amongst portions of the Catholic Church, because they always had movies that you were not supposed to see, that they listed. And of course, those were the movies, those were the forbidden fruit that a lot of the kids ended up wanting to see. Again, now there's, we can go into it later. Now there's a different kind of Legion of Decency. I would say the ADL and the SPLC, who also want to push their morals within this new society, this new internet phase. Joey, do you have anything to add of what I have just bloviated on?
And that, oopsie. I don't know much about the Legion of Decency. It sounds like it was also called the Christian Legion of Decency. And not surprisingly, it was implemented in 1934, the year after the initiation of FDR's consecrated country, America, and in the birth certificate introduction. So yeah, kind of fits in. Kind of interesting. I hadn't seen it before, but there's all kinds of organizations and programs that were a part of the New Deal, and I don't know if that has any roots in the New Deal, but it's kind of interesting.
Well, the Hayes Office was part of the New Deal, and then the Legion of Decency basically put in the rest. Now, I wrote a song on Suno that helped me out with the song. I wrote a song called Shifting Tides, and we're going to listen to that, and then we'll come back to what you think about this song, Joey. And right. I'm just, I didn't listen to that much of it, but I'll play it right now. This is called Shifting Tides.
Safety is gone now, father nowhere near. Mom's alone with kids, living with their fear. Welfare state rising, still changing the game. Families breaking down, nothing's quite the same. What happened to the family used to be strong and tight? Now we're scattered, broken in the night. Single mom struggle, crime rate soaring high. Children asking why, no answer to their cry. Dreams drifting away, society's new way. Lost in a haze, where did we go astray?
Make it stop.
All right, Joey. So let me okay.
You write the crappiest songs.
Thank you. I love it. Boo-hoo-hoo. No,
I'm kidding. Some of them are good. Some of them are good.
Now, I just asked this question on Gork. Today, newscasters seem to be more myopic and egocentric. This is the answer. Oh, you think today's newscasters are more myopic and egocentric? Well, I suppose it's all a matter of perspective. Some might say that the good old days of newscasting were filled with selfless, humble journalists who only cared about getting the facts straight and delivering the news with integrity. But let's be real here. Those days are long gone. They ain't coming back. Nowadays, it seems like every newscaster is a self-proclaimed expert on everything, and they're not afraid to let you know it. They've got their own opinions, their own agendas, and they're not afraid to shove them down your throat. You're damn tootin' you do. And I'm tired of your food. And you're going to get a taste of your own medicine when I do my Walk Against the Woke campaign, Joey.
It is interesting. It reminds me of a story this guy told me that there were 10 blind men, and they were put up to an elephant, and they were told to describe to everybody what the elephant would look like to them. And so you had one guy up by the tusk who said it's long and hard, and one other guy was feeling the leg and rubbing the leg and said it was had a this wrinkly sort of texture to it. And another guy, so all these 10 people were all in different parts of the elephant, and none of them were wrong in how they were describing it. It was just their perspectives that were coming through. So the truth is the whole, right? It's all of these things combined that make up the look and the actual truth of the matter in that case. And any omissions would be the lie. So I thought that was kind of like what you were saying, kind of fit together with that story.
Yes. So let me see here, and again, I think that is part of their generation. You get to the baby boomers, they're not as objective as the silent generation and what they would call the greatest generation.
Right.
Then you get to Generation X, and that's when you start to see, the kind of spoiled brat syndrome, like a Don Lemon. And then you get like Generation X, which is Brian Stelter, more bratty, obnoxious behavior. You get people like Francesca Ramsey, who are just spoiled, bratty, obnoxious midwits, and unbelievable what has come across with the elites with this society. What has grown out of it is really just egocentric, vile nonsense that, in my opinion, must be resisted. Joey, is there anything to add before I end this show with a song?
Play us another song.
And then I might get, okay. So guys, like and subscribe.
Yes.
Leave a comment down below.
Get us out of this echo chamber. Come on, we need some more voices. Don't be afraid of Brian.
All right. This song is called The Land of the Rising Sun. And it was a song that I wrote about a Japanese person I knew that had a grandfather that fought in the Second World War, and his father had fought in Vietnam. Let me play this song real quick. I want to get Joey's perspective on this song. So like and subscribe. If you find it boring, that's fine. But Joey, have you heard the song before? Have you heard this song before?
I think so, yeah.
All right, let's get his perspective on it. Here we go.
Ain't too far away, the land of the rising sun. Dreams and hopes in a suitcase, a new life had begun. But when the wars came knocking, they took him from his home, from American soil to a camp where hopes were left alone. In the heart of his old country, duty called his name. Granddad didn't falter, answered just the same. World War II was raging, a call he couldn't deny. For the love of both his homelands, he was ready to comply. In the heart of his old country, duty called his name. Granddad didn't falter, answered just the same. World War II was raging, a call he couldn't deny. For the love of both his homelands, he was ready to comply. He stood tall for freedom, no matter where it was found. From the camps in California to the battle's raging sound. When duty comes calling, you've got to heed the call. Through silence and through sacrifice, they give it all. Years rolled on and his son grew in this land so new. The scars of yesteryears in every step he took. When Vietnam was crying, he knew just what to do. Just like his old man did, he stood for the red, white, and blue. Through the far distant jungle, beneath the tropical sky, the heart of the warrior in every battle cry. He fought for a land that once caged his own kin, but for the promise of freedom, he was all in. He stood tall for freedom, no matter where it was found. From the camps in California to the battle's raging sound. When duty comes calling, you've got to heed the call. Through silence and through sacrifice, we give it all. He stood tall for freedom, no matter where it was found. From the camps in California to the battle's raging sound. When duty comes calling, you've got to heed the call. Through silence and through sacrifice, they give it all. Through silence and through sacrifice, they give it all. Years roll on and his son grew in this land home. Years roll on and his son grew in this land so new. The scars of yesteryears in every step he took. When Vietnam was crying, he knew just what to do. Just like his old man did, he stood for the red, white, and blue. Through the fog of distant jungle, beneath the tropical sky, the heart of a warrior in every battle cry. He fought for a land that once caged his own kin. And for the promise of freedom, he was all in. It was all in.
On our next road trip, please stay away from my playlist.
All right, Joey. All right, do I have time for one more crap? What? Go ahead.
We've all sacrificed something. The problem is there's a lack of transparency. That's all I'll say about it.
Ain't that the truth, Joey? I mean, there is a lack of transparency. There's a lack of, there's a lack. Look, all I want from these groups that censor me is how is the pudding made. Now, tomorrow we will be doing a show called Gork. Gork is a good robot. Is Gork a good robot or a bad robot?
Well, I think what you're referring to too is the idea that when someone would get a new buy a car back way long ago, I don't know when, in the 30s, 40s maybe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Everybody in they would get together, they take the damn thing apart and put it back together again. Yeah. And so I think it'd be nice to be able to do that with some of this ridiculous technology that's they've made so intricate and tiny and for no real reason.
You know what, Joey? That's what we got to do with Walk Against the Woke. We got to do AI it. And all these programs. They're here. They're part of the future. We got to get into that. We got to get people knowing about this stuff.
Yes.
Just to be aware of it. You know what, man? Mm-hmm. It's here. No matter what you say, it's here, Joey. And all these programs are here. So tomorrow we're going to do a Gork show. And hopefully
I'm also, if I can find a few minutes tomorrow, I'm going to try to do another high finance show, and I'm going to review some of the things that I last spoke about, and I haven't been wrong. I've been on the right side of this, and I've been saying these things for quite some time. But anyways, we'll get around to that. It should be an interesting, compact little show. I did listen to your last show. I thought it was pretty interesting, and I ran out of time to respond to it. So maybe I'll try to get back on track and start responding a little quicker to these things.
All right, I'm going to end the song with Old Man's Wisdom. So
let's end the show with Old Man Wisdom. All right.
Here we go. Like, subscribe, leave a comment down below.
Once said to me, life ain't what it seems to be. Equality's a fleeting ghost. Freedom's where we hurt the most. We all need help from time to time. In this world, it's a steep climb. yourself to starve, my friend. Nature's struggle has no end. Conquest is a part of life. Even in love there's often strife. We all need help from time to time. In this world it's a steep climb.
Like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Thank you all for listening, whichever you listen on. Thank you.